Good evening to you and welcome to my Facebook Live. My name is Jenny McCormack and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and I'm based in Brackley in the UK. Thank you so much for joining me today. I do a Facebook Live Monday through to Thursday. On Mondays and Wednesdays it's 10 a.m. in the morning here in the UK, and Tuesdays and Thursdays it's 7 p.m. So here we are on Thursday. I had to think about that for a minute. At 7 p.m. on Thursday the 6th of May. And today I'm going to be using a brand new stamp set, which I have used briefly, I think, recently. And it's called Hand-Penned Petals. And it is a photopolymer stamp set. So that means it's a clear stamp set. You mount it on an acrylic block or block of your choice. And then you ink that up and then stamp it. And then you have some options for colouring in. So what I wanted to show you today is two different options for colouring in. One is to use, and then there are more, but one is to use our blends pens, and the other option is to use our inks. I've chosen the outline colours for today. These are our new in colours. And I'll give you a choice of the colours of the flowers that you would like. So that we have fresh freesia. This is this pretty light purple. We have soft succulent, which I'm going to use for the leaves. We have polished pink, and we have pale papaya. This is the pale papaya, so it's a really nice soft peach colour. I'm also going to use the stamps, and I'd love you to let me know which image you prefer at the end of our session. Now I'm just wondering why it's not coming up live on my page, so give me 1 minute. If you are joining me, oh, I can see some people here. Hi Katie. Oh, excellent, Karen. That's good. Hi Carol, and hi Lynn. So people are here, it's just you're not appearing on my phone, which is really strange. So hopefully it will pop up shortly. It keeps popping up in my screen, so maybe it will get there eventually. Let us hope so. Oh, here we are, we've got there. Right, thank you, Karen. So this is Hand-Penned Petals. It's a really pretty stamp set. It's very much a Jenny stamp set. The cost of the stamp set is £20, and it does have matching dies that you can use to cut out elements. One of the dies cuts this as an outline here, which is what I've done with this particular one, like so. And one of the dies also cuts this out, but as a an image in its own right. So it's similar to the stamp in that it will fit on there, but obviously it's in more detail in terms of the centres and things like that. So you could use it to layer onto a stamp, or you could use it as a silhouette in its own right. We're not going to be using the dies today, but these are the dies that are available. So as well as this outline, it also cuts out this image and this image, and then some of the extra flowers and petals, and there's some extra centres and things like that as well. So I'm going to be using those on another occasion. One of the nice things this has is this stitched scalloped border, which is really useful for adding a little extra interest to your cards. Let's get that back in place. What I've chosen to use today for my background is this die here. This is from a new set of dies called Scalloped Contours, and that's exactly what it does. It does have a matching stamp set. I haven't purchased that as yet, but I do love these dies that do all these different rectangular shapes, and you've got different types of stitching all the way around. And then you've also got another scalloped die here that does a large edge. But just for today, I'm going to stick with this one here. And what I've done is I've cut out 2 panels in our basic white, and I'm going to be stamping straight onto these panels and be working with these. I have got some white card for my card base. Sorry. Phone doesn't want to go off. Bear with me 1 second. Goodness me. Go one after another. I do apologise. So I've got some white card bases, and then what I've also got to go with this is our in colour designer paper stack. So when we've chosen the colours that we're going to use for the flowers, I'm going to cut out one of these layers and put them between here and our card, just for some really pretty coordination. And in fact, because that one's there, that's the colour I'm going to start with. Okay, let's pop these away for the moment. Pop that die back in its packet. So I hope everybody's had a good day. It's been variable weather for us here today. Let's hope it improves. So this is my blank die cut, and you can see it's got this lovely fine stitching around the edge, and that really frames your project. And what I'm going to do is stamp the flowers and then have my sentiment at the bottom. Not quite sure which way I'm going to stamp these. Let's have a look and see. So that would work quite nicely, and it would fit really nicely in there. Now you could of course stamp this on a separate piece and die cut it, but for today's project I just want to do straight stamping and 2 methods of colouring in. So I'm going to stamp both of these and then show you the 2 methods, one next to the other. So no guesses as to what colour I'm going to stamp this in. It could be black. But it's definitely going to be early espresso in my case. So I'm just inking this up on the right hand side, and then I'm going to pop this up here, I think. I'm putting it fairly high because I want room for my sentiment underneath. Like so. That's one. It's very pretty, very quite dainty lines, and I really like that, as you know. That's very much my style. Okay, let's ink up the other one like so. So shall I don't know whether to do them in the same colours so you can see the difference between the two, or to do them in different colours. I don't mind. I guess for a complete comparison, doing it in the same colours would be a good plan. There we go. Now obviously this image could go any which way, so you could have it that way, you could have it that way with sentiment, or that way. I actually quite like it like that. Okay, and for my sentiment then, I've got from this same stamp set. I've got thanks, anything is possible, congratulations, and feel better, friend. What have I got here? Anything is possible. So I'll do that on one. Or perhaps I'll do, sorry, I've got my thanks here, which will fit nicely on that one. So let me do that first, just looking everywhere for that. I just want to stamp that off on a piece of spare paper. There we go. It's a really nice soft script. So this one is going to go on here. What I do like about this sentiment is because it's, you know, like a handwritten script, you don't have to have it, and it's also up and down, you don't have to have it spot on. Let's see if Feel Better Friend will fit on the other one, just so I've got some different sentiments to show you. I'm going to stamp this because I haven't used this stamp yet. Normally what I do is stamp everything out for you to see, but I haven't yet. There we go. So there's my two images on there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the blend pens on one, and I'm going to stamp with the ink pads on the other. So I'm going to do the stamping first, and I don't know which one I did first, but let's do this one. So I'm going to use Fresh Freesia, and this is the one here for the pens, and I'm also going to use this lovely new green called Soft Succulent. It's a very much like a sage green, a very soft green. So let's use the Fresh Freesia first, and I'll do the two large flowers in that, and then I'll do the other flowers maybe in the Pale Papaya. So if you've had a chance to look at the new ink colours, I'd love to know what your favourites are. So this stamp here will fill in that large stamp. And then we've got this one here that will fill out that one. And there is a smaller one for that, which I guess I could use. Let's do that one, and then just put the smaller one in. And then I'll switch out and pop the leaves on. So to start with, I'm just going to use Fresh Freesia. Now I haven't got a pad underneath here. I'm just going to move this one out so I don't drop anything on it. So I just want you to see the two different ways really. So I'm just going to stamp this one. Let me just bring in my scrap piece here. Yeah, it's got a lovely watercolour effect. So just going to pop this one in like so, and then the next one down, like so, and then this one here. Like that. Didn't get that very very straight at all. So what I'm going to do is stamp that off and then just move it around a little bit so I do actually cover a few more of those leaves. Move that around like that. There we go. Sorry if that's in a bit of shadow for you. Just want to put that on a bit better. There we go. Okay, so I've got 1, 2, 3, and then I'm going to use this small double stamp here that will do the 2 and the 2 of those flowers together. And just for changing colour, I'm going to do these in the pale papaya, so I'll just grab that ink pad. So I'll say I hope everybody's had a good day. Well, for us in the UK anyway. Other people have got their day ahead of them. I saw Katie been out walking again. Well done, Katie. Love your photos that you post on your page. So I'm just going to pop these in. 1, 2, like that. And then finally I'm going to use the 2 leaf images. So we've got a larger one and a smaller one. I'm just going to use these to fill in the leaves. So there's a large and a small. Like that. And I'm just going to use the soft succulent, as I said. If ever you're stuck for ideas of colours, then our catalogue has lots of different colour ideas that you can utilise. You can either take them straight from the catalogue, or you could use some of our designer series paper. So this one here, which matches this stamp set, as you can see, has got some different colours. So we've got Blushing Bride, got a bit of Daffodil Delight, and a little bit of Pool Party and Misty Moonlight. So if you are struggling for ideas, there is always a list of the colours in the catalogue itself. So I'm just going to use these, and these images in general can go any which way, like so. And they are just a hint of colour, so they're designed to look like you've watercoloured it. So I'm just going to do this one with some of them stamped off, like so. So stamp that full, stamp this one full, and here, like that. So that is one that has been coloured using our ink pads. Okay, what I'm going to do now is use the same colours with our blends pens, and you will get a different effect because obviously these stamps are designed just to fill in parts of those. You could combine those. So if you didn't like some of these gaps, you could actually use your blends pen to go back over it if you wanted to. Let me just lift that up so you can see. But I do think that this contour die with the stitching really frames that, rather than have it as a, just a plain rectangle. Okay, so let's do some colouring, and I'm going to do the flowers in the same sets of colours. Let's start with the leaves. Thank you for the hearts. Thank you, Lily. So this is dark, soft succulent even. So I'm using the lines that the designer has given us, or the artist has given us, to help us with some shading. So now for us in the UK, it's local elections today. So when I finished here, I'm off to do some to do my voting. So this is for our local councillors. This is my light soft succulent, and I'm just going to blend this out like so. So these blends are part of our new In Colours, and I do have an In Colour club that you can join if you want to purchase all the main products that the In Colours come in, and you want to spread the cost over 5 months. You'll get one set of colours each month for 5 months. So just scribbling that in. And I am leaving a little bit of white around the edges. Not a great deal, just a little bit of white. I don't know if you can see that or not. So those are my leaves. I'm then going to do fresh freesia here for those 3 main flowers. And again, I've got the light, and I'm going to start with the dark in the centres. Again, just using the lines that the artist has given us. Okay, you can do around a little bit around the edges as well. So I've got 1, 2, 3, haven't I? Like so. Now I can choose to do the centres the same colour, or I could add a different colour in for the very centre, which I might do with these ones. Okay, so that's the dark fresh freesia, and I'm just going to hop on to the light. So this colour is very slightly different from the ink. I have to say, when I stamped these, I hadn't cleaned off the stamp pad, which is why they look slightly a slightly dirtier colour. So that is my fault entirely. So I'm just using the brush tip now, brushing that colour out, going towards the edges but not necessarily going right to the edge. Again, I want this watercolour look. This would look really nice if you did it on watercolour paper or shimmer white paper with aqua painters and watercolours. So I might introduce that next week. So here we go, nice and easy. There we have it, and then this one here. So for you ladies in the UK, have you already voted, I wonder? I think it's 9 o'clock they're open to, but it might be 10. I'm not quite sure. Okay, so there's my fresh freesia, and then I'm going to use the pale papaya for these little ones here, and again I've got light and dark. Use the dark one in the centre. Now I've used early espresso ink, and these are alcohol pens, so it won't make the ink run, but it can run if you haven't allowed it to dry before you use the blends pen. You can see a little bit of that ink running if it's not dry, so just be aware of that. And I think I'm going to put a little bit of that on the inside. So that is the dark, this is the light, There we go. There we are. So quite a different look between the two, as you can see here. So I wonder which you like the best, whether you like the inked version or whether you like the coloured in version with the pens. I think from the distance they look very similar. It's only when you've got them really close up that you would see them any different. If you wanted to with this one, if you didn't like the little white gaps, you could just use a blends pen and fill those in a little bit if you wanted that a little bit fuller. So it'd be, you know, it's really up to you, depends on what you prefer. And the same with this here. If you didn't like this, or this is a little bit too dark, you could add in a few bits and pieces of the darker fresh freesia if you wanted to. There we go. Now this pen, these pens will dry a little bit lighter than you see. Okay, so that's those two there. Now what you can do is add a little bit of spattering. So if you wanted a bit of ink on these, I can see that I've done it on this, on the base of here. Let me just pop a piece of old paper underneath. So what you can do is use your blends pen, and then there's two ways that you can flick the ink from your blends pen or your marker pen. You can take the pen and flick it, the ink, like so, from the inside. If I bring it up here, if you can see that up on the left hand side. Or if you prefer, you can tap it like that. I think you can do it either way. Okay, so take the nib off. You do want the larger brush tip, okay, and then I've got light spattering all the way over. The closer you get to the image, the more, the larger that will be. Slightly frightened of knocking the pen tip when I do that. Let's try it this way, see if this is, yeah, perhaps that feels a bit better. Or, as I say, you can flip it like this. The only danger with doing this is that you could potentially ruin that top in the end, but it does give a really soft effect. And what you might want to do is just wipe this when you've done, so that the ink doesn't transfer onto the barrel, so when you get it out next time you get nice inky fingers. Okay, right, so there we go. I've got those two, so let's make up the cards. I should have some gems as well that have got these colours in. Here they are. So these are our new in colour gems, and you can see here the fresh freesia and also the pale papaya. But what I'm going to do is grab my white cards like so. Just move these out of the way, and this one out of the way, and layer up some pieces of the freesia paper. So there's two different patterns for each of the new in colours, so let's use one of each. So you've got the stripes with the little sort of fleur-de-lis on the reverse, or little flowers, And then you've got this one, which is quite sort of modern or retro, with the little lines and the dots, if you can see that. So I'll use one of each, and I'm just going to cut these to fit the card. I'll cut them both at the same time. Okay, so I'll cut this like so, 10 centimeters. There we go. By 14.35, and that will give me a ½ centimetre border, which equates to 1/4 centimetre, or 2.5 millimeters all the way around. So we're going to have one like so, and one like so. I could introduce a different colour, so I could use the soft succulent or the pale papaya, but I want you to see an exact comparison. So I'm going to use this one here, and I've got my Seal Plus like so. I'll put that on one side. So just taking time to centralize that. Okay, it's my front door. Oh, it's a delivery. Bear with me 1 second. That's perfect. Thank you.
No worries.
Cheers.
There you go. Have a pleasant evening.
Thank you. Cheers. Apologies, ladies, I am back. A mystery parcel. There we go. So there's one. And then this one here. Oh, those I like both of these sides. Typical, isn't it? Both of those, I'm not quite sure about either of those. Hey ho. It's just as well we're all different, isn't it? Okay. So those are on there. And then I've got my 2 layers to go on here. Now I could add some ribbon because we have matching ribbon for this, but I'm just going to put these up on dimensionals. There we go. One, two, three, four, 5. So again, positioning that fairly centrally, hopefully. Cute. So let me know, do you prefer the blends version or the inked version? I know which one I do. There we go. So this is a really pretty and really versatile set. So I might have to do a separate class for this one, I think. we go. So those two there. Obviously you could stamp, cut out and add that as a layout for a little bit of interest as well. Finally, I'm going to add our little bit of bling on here. So this is the fresh freesia and the polished pink, and I did locate my pokey tool the other day. So let's add, that's polished pink. Oh dear. Okay, 1 and 2 little ones, I think, like so. Sweet. And then I might do on this one the soft succulent. 1, 2 and 3. There we go. So let me just fold that and use my bone folders to score it. I pre-scored it already. There we are. And then this one here. There we have it. So 2 different variations on a theme. So this is the blend version, so a little bit deeper, and this is the inked version, a little bit more subtle. So I would love to know which one you prefer, so do comment and let me know. Right, I'm off to find out what was in my parcel, which is always very exciting. And I look forward to crafting with you over the weekend. So I will be here on Sunday at between 3 and 4:30 in the afternoon UK time, and that's for my craft and chat. And I will also be releasing details of this month's class in a box, which will feature the Hand-Penned Petals suite. And I'm also doing a special event for my any ladies, any gents, anybody who's purchased my class in a box over the last year, and that is a special catalogue launch. There will be 3 make and takes sent to you in a little packet. Most of you should already have the catalogue, but there'll be a catalogue if you haven't already received one, plus a sample of the new in colours, and some games and events on the day, and that will take place next weekend. So if you've had a class in a box from me over the last year, thank you very much indeed. And I will be sending out an email with that information to those people directly. So I hope you'll be able to join me for that. And that will be Saturday the 15th of May. So a week on Saturday. Okay, thank you so much for joining me today, ladies. I really do appreciate your company. I hope you have a nice afternoon or evening, depending on whereabouts in the world you are. And as I say, I'll be back on Sunday. You're always welcome to join me for my craft and chat. The Zoom information is kept on my Gemini Crafts page, and I always put a reminder on there before the event, and I will add it as an event on Facebook as well. So thank you so much. Have a good evening. I hope you like my hand-penned images. I look forward to catching up and crafting with you really soon. Thank you for watching. Take care, look after your loved ones, look after yourselves, and I hope you can keep crafting. Cheers for now. Bye bye.